In this video today, I'm going to share 10 things you should know before you move to Salt Lake City, Utah. And I'm getting after it right now. So one of the first things that you should know, or number one on the list, would be location of where you want to live. So you kind of have to decide if you want to live north of Salt Lake City, south, southeast, southwest, west of the city. So the cities that you would pick from would be something like Draper, Mill Creek, Sugar House, Cottonwood Heights. Then you have like Herriman and South Jordan, West Jordan. You have Sandy, Midvale. There's like a ton of different cities. So I have a bunch of them that I've been highlighting in my channel, so you can kind of get an idea of the overview of those different cities. But when you're here, I would just recommend driving through, maybe looking online at some of the homes you like, find out what budget, and then kind of hone in on an area would make it most easy. Number two on my list would be to get set up with a local lender. I can't tell you how many people move here and don't do the lending piece ahead of time. So they don't really know what price that they should be looking at. So they'll be looking at either higher or lower than what their budget states. The local lender will help you get a better chance of getting your offer accepted with local agents here, because they'll have heard of the agent. They won't have to worry that, if you're using one of the online lenders, even though they have a better rate, sometimes they don't always close on time. And the same thing for you. The last thing you want to do is be planning on closing on your home on, say, the 10th of the month, and you're using the other lender and they're in not the same sense of urgency and hurry as a local lender would be, and they won't close on time. You end up, having to stay in a hotel for an extra week. I've had clients have to do that where, they stayed in a hotel in one of the extended stays for like 2 weeks because they had to use an online lender. While it saved them some money, I think the headache wasn't worth it at the end when I asked them. So just know that I think that getting in touch with a local lender, if you need one, I have a few that I could share with you that you'll like one of them, and I think that would be best for you. So that's my number two. Number three would be figure out what style of home you're looking for. Are you looking for a cottage, a single family home, a townhome, a multifamily unit, or you want acreage? Do you want a bigger yard, smaller yard? Because in certain areas they don't have those types of homes. Like if you're wanting to be in the city and you want a condo, town, high-rise type of thing, then you won't find that in certain other cities. So you want to research and figure out what type of home you want to purchase and what type, and once you kind of figure out the location that you like, as long as you're picking from certain types, you'll probably be able to find that in that area. But we want to kind of hone in on the style of what you're looking for as far as the home type you're going to pick. Number three on the list. Oh, that's number three. Sorry. Number four, you probably should know about the taxes here. So research ahead of time to figure out how that's going to affect your income. But we have a 4.5% flat tax here in Utah, which is, I guess, in the middle of the road. Coming from where we came from in Tennessee, where we had 0 state income tax, we kind of had a decrease in pay moving here because sales tax is still high, but not as high as it was in Tennessee. But gas, like the gas tax here is higher, so that makes gasoline more expensive. But other taxes are higher. So just do your research. Make sure that you know what your property taxes are going to be in the city that you choose, because different cities have different tax rates. And the sales tax is different as well. So taxes would be something I would look into. It's also probably a good idea to, if you're using a CPA currently, to look into a CPA. I can also refer you to one, depending upon which city you pick and how close they are to you. But having your taxes be set and you understand what they are would be super beneficial. Number 5, you need to decide how close you want to live to work. So they have a little bit of public transportation here. We have some busing and we have the track system, which you can check out. Figure out where you want to live based on how far you want your drive to be. Know that we do have traffic here. However, it's not traffic like you might be used to if you're coming from, say, Los Angeles or Texas, where they have some killer traffic. But if you're coming from an area where you've never had traffic, then you probably want to make sure that we are honing in on an area when you're looking to relocate here to Salt Lake City, that you find the right area as far as distance. Like, I don't know, a comfortable distance is 15-20 minutes max. I think everybody can do that drive to and from work without it being really an issue. It gives you a few minutes to make a quick phone call if you want in your car, listen to some music, just decompress from your work before you get home. So a 15 or 20-minute radius around where you want to work is ideal. However, you may or may not be able to do that based on what your budget is, and then also what style and type of home you want. And then also, we have no idea where you're going to be working. At least I don't right now. So that was that one. The next one is, are you relocating here? And do you have a job, or are you going to need to find a job? So you'll want to take care of and make sure you have the job part all lined up. And this also goes back to the number 2, which is the lender side. So you want to make sure that you cover that with a lender if you're planning to switch jobs or anything that has to do with your job. It's super important. And if you're changing fields or you wanted to change different types of jobs, that you talk to the lender ahead of time, make sure that they'll still be able to count all your work and everything else towards your loan, or else you could end up finding out that you can't buy for a year and you have to rent while you establish job history. So figure that part out ahead of time, talk to the lender. They are the one who would be able to help you exactly handle that situation. But I have had people that quit their job before they moved, and then they realized after they didn't talk to me ahead of time, and they didn't know that they couldn't do that. And then there was a problem with that. And they had to wait like 6 months to purchase a home. I don't want to see that happen to anybody. So please make sure that when the lender that we're talking to, they're aware of everything to do with your job and everything else. Next on the list is school zones and daycare. So if you have kiddos, make sure that you check ahead of time as far as daycare costs, because they're widely different, and make sure that you're going through that, and make sure that you have, if you're looking for a certain school, that you're checking into that ahead of time. So we make sure that if there's a certain school you wanted to go to for some reason, that we have that planned, and that we're searching a certain zone. It makes it more challenging, but not impossible if you have to be zoned for a certain high school or elementary school. But it was really helpful if you knew that ahead of time and we were planning that. And you can check some of that stuff out on like Great Schools and School Digger, just to look at like ratings of schools and such. But Utah seems to have a pretty good school districts, and the quality of education seems to be pretty good so far, since we've only been here a year now, and my kids seem to really like the schools that they've been to. Next up would be to how you handle all your things. So depending upon where you're moving from, sometimes it's better to sell a ton of your things than it is to pack and move it. If you're hiring one of the bigger moving companies, something like a Mayflower or an Atlas moving company, like that can cost a ton of money, and you would have been better off just selling your stuff and buying new. And when we moved here from Tennessee, we sold like 90% of our stuff. We just packed, I think we rented a 26-foot U-Haul and packed that full of whatever would fit. And I think we pretty much took everything. We had it planned pretty well, down to like there wasn't much space that was left over. So we sold couches, we sold beds, the bed frames. We sold our dining room table. And we kind of got rid of that stuff just because we knew that when we moved here, we could just go on Facebook Marketplace or KSL and find exactly what we were, or find something that would work really good. We also didn't know exactly the space that we would have in the place, since we got it online ahead of time before moving there, so we weren't sure exact spaces, and we didn't want to end up bringing something and then finding out that we couldn't use it. Also, your stuff can get damaged in the travel, so if you're getting rid of it, but I wouldn't get rid of any sort of things, heirlooms and that sort of thing, or clothes. Those are super easy. You just throw those into big wardrobe boxes, is what we did, and pack that all in there. So plan ahead as far as how you're going to handle all of your things. Like, should you sell them? Does it make more sense? I mean, you can make a couple $1,000 selling the stuff and then rebuy when you get there. It also gives you new stuff, which, you know, makes you happy to have new things in the house. The next thing is, which this is a good tip, take a vacation after you move here. So have that planned, a little short 3-day vacation. And if you're moving here to Utah and you're not from Las Vegas would be a recommendation of mine. Go stay in Vegas for 3 days. It's not so you can get a good hotel room for, I don't know, $150 a month. I mean, $150 a night down there, and just have some fun, release all the stress from it before you get started into doing everything you want to do in Utah. But I think the vacation thing is a really good option for people. And if you plan ahead and, you know, book your hotel room of where you're going, or if you wanted to book a flight, you want to go to, you know, even you could go to Hawaii or the Caribbean, or however extensive you wanted to make your trip, whatever is your happy place. I would plan on a 3 or 4 day trip after you've moved and settled, because moving is one of the most stressful things you can do. So after you get there, after you get here and you moved in, take a vacation and have some fun. And then number one, or the last thing on my list, is you need to reach out to me. And my number you can see down below, and you can see my email address. Just call me with any questions you have about relocating. You want to know anything about areas, I'm available, you know, evenings, nights, weekends, whatever it is. I got your back when you're moving here to Salt Lake City. And I want to thank you for watching my video, and watch some of the other ones. Thank you.